Here it is. We're on a Sunday, early on this Sunday, as the Pittsburgh Steelers get prepared to play here on Sunday Night Football here in Pittsburgh. But before we even get into any NFL stuff here tonight and let you guys have some fun later on, we got to talk about the Pittsburgh Panthers and the major victory they had yesterday. Oops. There we go. And the major victory Pitt had yesterday, 53-34, an absolute drubbing. And even with fourth stringers on defense, Pitt's defense, I thought, played extremely well. But, man, the Pitt offense truly proved people wrong, and it showed that it wasn't like last year. The noise in the stadium in Syracuse clearly was loud enough. Last week, you saw major issues. But let me tell you, yesterday, there were no issues yesterday. I mean, just an incredible display of football. Mason Heincher looked incredible. Desmond Reed, you name it across the board. It looked awesome across the board. But today, before we get into it, guys, Colonial Beer is the sponsor of the show, located 4986 Library Road in Bethel Park, PA, 15102. Colonial Beer, tremendous people. Bill and Alan, truly two of the best individuals you will get to meet, and they truly are the best when it comes to customer service, but plenty of different selections at Colonial Beer. Make sure you guys go see them today at 4986 Library Road in Bethel Park, PA, 15102. The show is also sponsored by Thompson Law Group with Brian Thompson, an attorney on your side. Call them today at 724-799-8404 or visit them at thompsonattorney.com. Brian Thompson, truly one of the best individuals you can meet, a very good individual, comes from a great family, has a great family. Unlike the larger law firms, he cares about you, the individual. You're not a number, you're an individual, and your case matters. He'll guide you through the process from beginning to end and make sure you get the answers and the results that you need in your case. Again, Thompson Law Group with Brian Thompson. Call them today at 724-799-8404 or visit them at thompsonattorney.com. Last but not least, the K Collection, the coffee brand by Austin Kitchen. The K Collection, the backwards K, a very cool design, the AK Espresso. As I've said before, this is my favorite. This is what gets me going in the morning, whether it's the weekdays, the weekends, before I go to my office. This is what I have every morning. Only need one of them, and I'm ready to go. Make sure you guys go get the K Collection, the coffee brand by Austin Kitchen at www.thekingscraft.com. It is the backwards K Collection. Enjoy yours today. Guys, as we have it here, we'll bring him on to the stage as a regular guest, always here. Eric, truly the best, especially when it comes to breaking down tape. We're always lucky to have him here. Harry is actually headed to the Pittsburgh Steelers game tonight down here at Acrisure Stadium, so he actually gets to have a little bit of fun, gets to enjoy the football game. He'll be back next week, but we're lucky enough, man. We got Eric here who truly does the best. Eric, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well. How are you tonight, sir? Appreciate you having me on.
Oh, I'll tell you what, brother, your family, it's always good to have you on. I know it's always never easy to find time during the week, let alone the weekend. So, we're appreciative to have you on here today. And, man, you look at yesterday's football game. I mean, let's just hit it off. I mean, Pitt really, absolutely across the board, probably stunned everybody, including myself. My younger brother's in town, and, man, the first thing he said is, man, Pitt looks like one of the, definitely a top 25, top 20 team in the country. Mason Heinzel throws for over 400 yards, 60% completion percentage. Desmond Reed returns. He looked incredible. And then with four stringers, especially in the defensive end position, heck, we had Abe Ibrahim, a walk-on, start at middle linebacker. Kavir Baines-Marquez comes from the safety position and plays linebacker. They have not the Delta Force, but Pat Narduzzi called it. I can't remember the name. I had it here in my notes. The night crawlers, which is incredible, which was a reference to the Navy SEALs who took down Osama bin Laden. He went into a little bit of that after his post-game show, which is pretty crazy. But when you watched this football game yesterday, Eric, what were your thoughts, man? Holy hell, did you have any thoughts that we were going to put up 53 points after yesterday's game? Like last week's game, or what did you think of this football game?
No, not. I wasn't surprised that they won. I was surprised at the efficiency that they marched up and down the field with. There were some timely penalties here and there that kept some drives alive, but that happens to everybody every week. But Mason still continues to impress me with his poise, which is one of the, odd enough, the first things I called out for back in the spring game, but just his overall accuracy. The trust that the coaching staff has in him. I believe there was that early 4th and 2 that they went in, and not only did they go for it, but they call a rollout that had basically levels to the game. He had a short, medium, and long route that he was reading his own progression to. I think he hit 88 homes on a crosser. So the poise I like the balance of the run game. I mean, they had 26 carries between Reed and Turner, although there
Yeah.
was 8 passes, but it's still a lot of that's that short passing game, which is like an extension of the run game. So I just thought the offense played very, very well. And then, like you said about the defense, that's where I thought it was going to be a challenge. Although, because NC State had athletes, they didn't have a
Yeah.
lot of sophistication in their offense, but they had athletes. And I tell you what, the way that the defense continued to swarm, Lindsey stepped up. All the guys that are backups stepped up well, and it's only going to benefit them throughout the rest of the year, especially in that tough 3-game stretch down the road.
Couldn't agree more. And you brought up Cam Lindsey. The guy had an incredible strip for a fumble, recovered by the defense. I mean, just numerous great plays out of him. And I thought, for a guy who's getting real meaningful snaps right now, and, I wanted him to play more early on during the season, but it's not like it affected him. You know what I mean? You looked at the defense yesterday. There was a couple breakdowns in coverage, which you can expect from the back end to the front end where you have different guys playing. That's going to happen. That's why one of my keys to the game was, hey, if they score more than 27 points, Pitt's going to win this football game. But you saw it just get better and better and better. The amount of 3-and-outs that we saw yesterday, and the amount of 3-and-outs, we looked at the time of possession. I'm actually going to share my screen here with the viewers to give them an idea of what we're looking at here. When you look at the overall team stats from yesterday's game, I mean, first off, just absolute pure dominance. And to your point, it's only going to get better, Eric. You had a great point there. It's only going to get better as time goes on. But third down efficiency, again, 50%, almost 50%, 6 of 14, 4 of 13, fourth down efficiency, 1 of 1. But again, another game where Pitt has over total yards of 529 yards of total offense. I mean, that's absolutely insane. A lot of yardage for NC State, but it didn't even feel like it because towards the end of the game, you had even more of the backups in by the time they had them in the game. 28 of 49. And Mason Heinschel was 28 of 48, about roughly 60% completion percentage. Pitt rushed for over 100 yards again. This game here, and we talked about it last week. I mean, look at the penalties. I mean, much better this week. Only 5 penalties of 46 yards compared to NC State, 9 of 97. And then time of possession, 35 minutes compared to 25 minutes for NC State. I mean, just overall, it was just a hell of a game from Pitt from beginning to end. A lot cleaner in this round, and especially this week, which was incredible to see. And you wanted to see this going into this week. Looking at the box score for individual players, you see here plenty of good stuff here. Again, Mason Heinschel, 28 of 48, 423 yards, 3 tutties. Jakirian Boozy Turner, 13 carries for 50 yards. Desmond Reed, 13 carries of 41 yards. Obviously you sent over a number of great clips that we're going to get into here today because obviously the viewers certainly love that, to say the least. And before we get into any of the comments section, look at these just overall when you look at the offense, Eric. I mean, how many more games can this kid truly do this? I mean, 28 of 48, 423 yards. Sometimes people have to wonder, this kid's 18 years old, but he walks off the field yesterday and he tells Pat Narduzzi, yeah, it's a good game, but we left a lot of players, a lot of plays on the field yesterday. We could have scored more points. For an 18-year-old kid, have you ever seen that level of focus in terms of a quarterback that's so young, straight out of high school, that where you win a game 53-34, you've absolutely dominated the game, but you're almost like, hey, that's great, but we had a lot of plays that we missed on there. Have you ever seen that really from a 18-year-old kid?
I'm sure there were some similarities with some of the greats that, have gone through the NFL, but and I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure you know this, but I know Harry would know this too. I believe he didn't have very many D1 offers, or Pitt may have been his only D1 offer.
Only D1 offer. People were coming later on. Michigan was late to the game. Me and his dad were talking last night. They were late to the game, but to your point, I mean, Pitt was the only team that even remotely had an early offer on him.
Yep, and that's what I thought as well. I just wanted to clarify before I would misspeak. That's a product of you can't measure certain things on a quarterback, and especially a quarterback and any player, and that's up here. There's a lot of quarterbacks that can do well on the whiteboard that they cannot translate that to the field. There's a lot of people quarterbacks that wow you on the field, but they can't translate anything to the whiteboard. Mason does, great. He's not like the uber athletic guy, but so what? But he's very efficient with running the ball. He just understands the offense. He processes the information. And you know what? And I know Cade Bell took some slack earlier in the year with Holstein, and deservedly so on some things. But you know what? More and more, he is giving Mason some easy throws, some easy completions, and then Mason's delivering. So I think those two work very well together, and it's very evident that Heishel is like, you know what? Yeah, we did leave some plays on the field because him and Cade Bell are basically one and the same on the field and on the sidelines, and I believe that's the main reason why it's clicking. I mean, he completed balls to 11 different receivers. He's spreading the ball around, and that's a product of the play calling, but it's also a product of Mason getting through his progressions well. And like you said, it's the game's not too big for him, and he just continues to just when he sees the guy open, he can anticipate throws. So we can see, he hits him. He's not making it hard. And
Exactly.
I think doing those little things makes this offense hum. Mason's a big part of it, but he's not the only reason this offense is going on. He's just steering the ship, and he's doing it very, very well.
I agree, and it's great to see that overall from a number of different aspects. You're just watching this offense begin to really click yesterday. Just from looking at a number of different just stats here. You got Kenny Johnson, 7 catches for 112 yards. Kateris Blue Hicks, 4 catches for 120 yards. Raphael Poppy Williams, 5 of 62. Deuce Spann, 1 catch for 28 yards. Desmond Reed, 3 catches for 28 yards. Justin Holmes, 2 catches, especially a great catch on 4th down that he had. You're truly spreading the football out, but it was a truly breakout game yesterday for the top 3 guys, and that was Kateris Blue Hicks, Kenny Johnson, and Raphael Poppy Williams. Zion Fowler-Hell had a great 4th down conversion where he had a great catch. For a 3rd down conversion, 3rd and 10. Yeah. Great catch out of him. He did a great job yesterday. But before we get into the questions, and again, I know the questions are coming in. Guys, if you've not done so, down below, you can use the super chat button down below to get yours to the top because the questions are certainly flowing in here tonight. For me and Eric, make sure you use the super chat button down below and hit subscribe and like down below as well. But I want to share the great clips that you sent over because I was looking at it before we jumped on the show, and man, you pointed out some great stuff here, Eric. And as you can call it, this is really the Eric breaking down tape, and really the segment here, which is really good. And you did a phenomenal job here. Let me see if I can actually get my screen to work here. Here we go. This first play here, if he wants to pop up and show it to me here. Here we go.
I tried to. So this is actually the very first play of the game, and you and I both already shot out Cam Lindsey. Very, very good, and you could just tell he was chomping at the bit on it. So when you watch this play, watch Cam Lindsey the entire play. I mean, everybody probably knows what I'm talking about, but just watch him.
Boom! Oh my Lord!
That's pursuit.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. No, read his keys. The guard, you read his guard, and he just knows that he's going and just flattens the guy. And by the way, this is probably the best back they're going to see all year, not named Love from Notre Dame. And they held him, except for one play, they held him in check.
I mean, to your point, though, look at this. No false step. He reads it perfectly, goes right through the gap, and boom, he's right there.
Unbelievable play.
Even look at Abe Ibrahim. Look at Abe here. I mean, the same thing, too. Look at this whole group here. This is the first time they're playing together. And you've talked about this before in the past, Eric, just how hard it could be, especially, too, when you're working with multiple different players, when you're rotating guys through. I mean, Braylon Lovelace, for everybody, I mean, this is first game this year, probably in 2 years, where he's playing the outside linebacker position, and he's playing on the will side of the field here, where Cam Lindsey's playing star, and Abe Ibrahim. Look at him, man. Look at this guy. Hasn't played a full, really meaningful rep all year. This kid steps in and plays his ass off. Look at him get downfield. I mean, look at that. They just know exactly where they're going, and that's a testament to Ryan Manilak, man, just coaching these guys up and just how well they play. I mean, it's not like they're missing a beat.
Fitzy blows the guy up, too. He basically takes one for the team, if you will.
Yeah.
Blows up 74. That's just good team defense.
We'll go back here. Exit out of this one. Next up, you had a really good one right here.
I think it's
tackle.
The Lindsey show again, yeah. So this one you'll get to see the play, then it'll go to a different angle.
Yeah.
Again, but look at the D-line penetration, though. I mean, Neal's been penetrating. I mean, two is the reason he actually bails on him. Watch him. He just penetrates. Look at him. Look at two.
Isaiah Neal. And I'll tell you what, man, that's something else, man. Look at just to your point here. That's only a 4-man rush.
Yeah. And it's a controlled rush, too. But here's a confusion on this, too. Watch. Pause it right here. Look, there's 3 guys on James.
Yeah.
So that's the confusion on this. I mean, the way they're beating their guys, they're beating them so bad. Now they got 2 guys and a back blocking 1 guy. And then it's 3-on-3. Advantage Pitt.
Just a tremendous job for Pitt up front. Just one confusing NC State.
And this NC State quarterback is going to be a problem in the future, but he's still very young. But he's a really good athlete. And even though the ball's there, the ball security, he's still loose with it. He's not strong, and that's why Lindsey was able to get that out of him, because he's holding the ball right, but he's not strong enough to withstand the hits.
And to your point there, withstanding the hit, I mean, just look at this, and it's coming out at that second angle that you're talking about. Just one gets in there, does a great job, grabs the football, turns it over, and this is a great view right here. Look at this. Boom.
Yep.
Puts his hands right on the football, to your point, Eric. I mean, just can't withstand it. The amount of pressure.
It's exactly what they're doing. If you can't punch it out, get your hand on the ball and rip it. And that's exactly what Lindsey did, and it worked. Look, he got his hand on the ball, and he's just trying to make the tackle, but he knows the ball. Then you can see him pull his arm in. He's ripping it. So it's kid played a hell of a game.
Yeah, just Cam Lindsey, man. He continues to get better. He's going to be another great Aliquippa player from the University of Pittsburgh. And again, just his lineage and, again, their family in general, just great athletes and football players. And he just continues to light it up. I mean, you just can't ask for more than that. For a kid who's just, stepping in there, I got news for you. This kid has earned playing time the rest of the season and in meaningful snaps. He is going to play, and we're going to need him, and especially against Notre Dame, Stanford, Georgia Tech, all these games. I mean, I'm happy that the repetitions are there now, because now he can really play comfortably. He knows what he's doing. He's done a great job reviewing the tape, and he's just a physical football player. I mean,
100%. Yeah, they're going to need all the linebackers in the world when they play Georgia Tech, I tell you that.
Now to your next one here.
So this one should be more of just showing the pursuit. Again, this is kind of a repetitive thing. These are just 2 plays, but I just want everybody to continue to appreciate. I know the Pitt fans do. Just continue to appreciate the disruption that this defensive line and linebackers create. And I got it, JJ, right after this. If you can play the very last clip I just sent you, like while we were on the air, I forgot to send it to you after this one, because I want to show you what a cause and effect is for all this pressure.
Look at that. You have 4 guys right there tackling one guy. And immediately he's got to bounce it out. Great pressure.
Yep, 6 does a great job holding the edge. The back does get around him, but he holds him long enough for the rest of the pursuit to get there. Look at Lindsey again. He took over the outside containment.
Yeah,
Lindsey did, and it allowed the other 2 to come in, and they just smashed him.
And then we can see, you got Nate Temple here. He's able to bump it outside, keeps it outside. Cam Lindsey coming here. The bread man, Jasir Whittington and Isaiah Neal. I mean, it's just the absolute, Eric, your point here, just the pursuit. I mean, it's just, this is the Pitt defense that just where we've just been accustomed to. It doesn't matter who's, the D coordinator, the D-line coach. This is a Pat Narduzzi defense. The level of pursuit, working your ass off, and being physical. I mean, they're coming to hunt.
Look at Lindsey's perfect technique. His helmet is on his outside shoulder to turn him back in. Look at this. Boom. Perfect technique. He probably tackles him by himself, but everybody else is pursuing. But that's perfect. Resetting the edge or resetting the contain because Temple lost it. But boom, that's perfect. I think
now your point here.
If you let it run, or maybe I didn't put 2 in there.
Nope. Oh, you do have 2 in there, I think. Look at Isaiah Neal. Look at this. Look at this.
That's on. I mean, there's 23 just continues to play.
Kavir
you
Baines.
mentioned this at the beginning. He was playing a lot of linebacker just because his pursuit was so good.
Right here. And everybody's seeing Pat Narduzzi talked about this, as Eric talks about right here too. Kavir Baines right here. This is Kavir Baines, a safety playing linebacker in that Nightcrawler, brand new schematic part of the defense. Instead of going into Delta where they have, four, not just 3 linebackers, but 4 linebackers out there. Instead, they have 3 linebackers out there. Kavir Baines moves to LB. And then you have Joshua Gurrier right here, a true freshman, another true freshman. Watch these just 2 in just motion here, to your point.
Yeah. And again, look at 6 again, doesn't get the edge, but he slows him down enough. And then 23, man, that's just great pursuit. It's a great tackle.
Yeah, just look
he
at
he only gets 1 more yard, which is still negative if he misses it. But he's a short tackler. Boom.
But just to your point, Eric, I mean, tell everybody, just because I think people don't realize it enough. You're a guy who played at a high level and understands it. Talk about how hard it is to tackle an open space like this. When you're coming downhill and as fast as you are, he gets off his block, which is incredible. But immediately you have a guy in open space like this. Talk about how hard it is, especially when you're going side to side, to make this form tackle here and just stop him in his tracks.
Yeah, it was so hard that I didn't play defense because I couldn't do that. There's no way I could tackle that. But I can tell you from a receiver perspective or a runner, it's hard because a lot of times these guys come down and they're so aggressive in their pursuit that one little misstep or one little sidestep the defender can go by you. The way he flies up and look, he breaks down a little bit before he goes to tackle him. It's just discipline. What you got to do is you got to tackle the hips, and you tackle the hips and you want to tackle the man behind him, meaning the invisible man behind him. That's what you aim for, because if not, you're going to get juked out of your socks. So the form tackling is here. It looks like he falls, which he does, but I think that's more him just breaking down and making sure he tackles 6's hips, and he does, and it's a great, great play.
Kavir Baines, man, comes out of the FCS level. I mean, this kid, and again, man, it's Corey Sanders and Archie Collins, brother. It's just these guys, they find guys who fit this system. You'll see a lot of guys around college football. It looks like, from what I saw today, it looks like Brian Kelly, he looks like he's going to get fired here this afternoon. The coaches were sent home. It looks like he's going to be fired here today at LSU, which I think overall in college football is the number 1 job in college football. But these guys, they chase the stars. And you look at the players Pitt's bringing in. Don't get me wrong, Cam Lindsey's a 4-star talent. I mean, everybody in the country wanted him. We were lucky to get him. But Kavir Baines, I mean, no one heard of this kid. Comes in and just plays lights out consistently across the board. And I mean, it's a testament to the Pitt staff who uses their eyes in terms of being able to find guys. And that goes to Graham Wilbert, who's the general manager, the head of recruiting. Adam Kateri. I mean, he's another guy who just does an incredible job, assistant general manager. The guy's finding talent who fit this scheme. And this is the type of scheme where, I think Pitt does a great job, where it's extremely physical, it's fast, it's downhill, it's aggressive. It's a recruit across the country. Yep. Why would you not want to play in a freestyle defense like this, where you just get to be the best player you can certainly be? And for the people that were asking, Matt Sieg was on campus yesterday. He was at the game. He was on campus today. He was still there as of this afternoon. This is a prime example of a defense he can play in. And I wouldn't be shocked if Matt Sieg plays both ways. And the conversation I heard was extremely good. Got to see this full level defense of how they can play. Multiple coaches talked to him yesterday. This is a type of defense as a defensive player you want to play in. There's less thinking. It's important to know what you're doing, like anything else across the board in any defense, but it allows you to play freely. When you understand your assignment and you're not thinking, you're just playing so fast. And it's just a guy who comes in here, watches all the tape as possibly known. And I've talked to numerous coaches on the staff, and also too is the amount of players that talk about it too, his own teammates. This kid studies tape like nobody's business. It's a lot like Mason Heinzel, who studies tape like it's nobody's business. They are gurus of tape. And, Eric, you're a guy who, again, we're breaking down tape here today. You're a guy who is a master at watching tape. Talk about that importance as well. I think people don't understand that enough as well. It's not just showing up and playing ball or just going to practice. Talk to the viewers about why it's important to watch tape.
Well, because you don't have to think when you're on the field. You can just react and play fast. The more you understand your assignment, the better and faster that you play. And if you're an unselfish player, because every play is not drawn up for you as a defender, every play is not drawn up for you for a running back or from a receiver perspective. But there's rhymes and reasons why you do things on every play. And from a read and react perspective, on the defensive side, when you see certain motions, you see certain splits, whether like a short split, a wide split, you even pick up and you even hear. I can't remember. There's a couple of. It might have been Ray Lewis. I was just watching some tape. And he picked up on a running back how he has his hands on his knees or on his thighs could indicate if that's a run or a pass.
Yeah,
you pick up little things like that from film watching. Then you also pick up down and distance tendencies, formation tendencies with who they're trying to get the ball to. And when you know that ahead of time, that's like if everybody remembers Tecmo Bowl when we were kids, that's how you pick the play and you smother it.
Yeah.
So it's just an advantage on the field when you know, or at least have a good idea what's coming because you're able to play faster.
Couldn't agree more. And this is another one, bad feet here. This is a really good lineup here. Talk about this.
Yeah, so I wanted to show you this before we got into some of the offensive ones. All of that disruption on the defensive line. Whether, again, I don't know. I can't remember. I don't think Pitt had very many sacks this game, if at all.
Not.
So, but that doesn't matter because they disrupted him. Watch this play, and I want you guys to his feet and watch the quarterback's shoulders, more importantly, and also watch his feet on this. Let it play, and then I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Watch the quarterback's feet and shoulders. See how he pushed it?
Yeah.
He pushed the ball because he had happy feet. I mean, the feet weren't bad. They were pointing to the target, but they weren't pointing at the target. They were pointing ahead of it. But watch this. Look. He's a clean pocket, but look how he's way too fast in his delivery.
Your point here, look at the feet. Not even to the wide, not even to the running back, but to your point here.
It's kind of grainy, but you can tell on the game, his shoulder is leaning forward a bit, his a non-throwing shoulder, and that's why it guides that ball way out in front of the back. This should be an easy throw, and actually, thankfully, it wasn't a good throw because it would have went somewhere. Yeah,
because clearly, if you're watching here, especially when they line up, clearly running back comes out of the backfield. I would imagine this is Kavir Baines' guy right here. I would imagine, especially too, he's grabbing him. It's a 1-2-3 system here. I'd imagine here he has him, and then he's supposed to have him on the outside. But you can see, thank God he doesn't catch us because he would have probably gone for a pretty good bit of yardage. To your point, Eric, because look, there ain't nobody there. Gurrier's still back here. Kavir Baines is right here. You have all this open land, and especially too, Shadarian Harrison's getting blocked here. But to your point, look at where his feet are. To your point here, look, he's facing this way already. His running back's right here, it's perfectly diagonal to him, but his feet is facing this way, and especially that's where the ball goes.
Yeah, his foot should be facing more towards like the 21-yard line versus the 19. He's too quick because he's nervous. He feels the pressure even though there is no pressure. That is an accumulation of all the pressures he felt. Look, this is only in the second quarter.
Yeah.
There was already an accumulation of all the pressure he felt because he's a young kid and he's going to be a good quarterback, in my opinion. But he just felt that pressure, and you start rushing stuff, and you start rushing throws, and it just throws the entire offense up. So because you see, I mean, this was a good play because I saw a lot of two under, basically man-to-man across the board with two deep safeties, which was good because a lot of NC State's offense was this: smoke screens, wide receiver screens, and then big plays down the middle. And that's what Pitt looked like they were playing against. But this one would have got him if it wasn't for the quarterback's bad throw.
I agree. And also, too, it was good to get a couple guys back during the game yesterday. We lost linebackers, but as you can see here, Blaine Spires was back playing yesterday. More and more guys are back. Joey Zielinski was playing yesterday, so the defensive end room was getting a little more healthy. But the linebacker room was still quite a bit banged up. And then I see the questions here, a couple questions in there. Nick Lappy was indeed hurt. Let me see here. A couple good offensive plays in here. But I see the one question here. Lappy was indeed injured. He did not dress I would expect him. I think he'll be back next week. I still say to this point, we should have Rasheem Biles and Kyle Lewis back this coming week. In my opinion, it's great for them because, one, they get at least one game in, and then Pitt has that bye week. I think it'd be really good for them. So we'll monitor that and see what that looks like moving forward. But back to the game tape here, some really good offensive ones in here.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Right
V4 and V5 are the same thing, but so there was a theme here, and I did not know this. I went back and looked at it this morning. I was watching the game. Is there were a lot of game plans versus NC State attacking the seams, and that's what Pitt did a lot of. And you're going to see 2 seam plays to Poppy on this clip, and then the next one you're going to see how they built off of that. But they attacked the seams very well, and this was very, very good anticipatory throws by Mason. And obviously, I think Poppy's becoming he's going to be a really good slot receiver at the next level. I can already tell he's going to be a very good slot receiver, and they're working magic right now between those two.
I agree with you. And also, too, when you notice here, exactly through here, look how far off of the line of scrimmage they are. This is kind of really mocking Syracuse. Syracuse did this a lot. And Eric, you talked about this last week. Really, especially 3rd down and 13, they're expecting a throw. They're playing more guys, especially deeper into coverage, trying to also do a little bit of confusion with Mason Heinchel. It doesn't work. But to your point here, watch this. I mean, it's a great play. Plenty of time to throw. Boom.
Right to a spot. It was great. I think we get another angle of this. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do, because I want you to watch like the protection. Look at the protection.
At this. Look at this.
And look at the boom. It's again thrown right to a spot. I mean, if you pause it right as well, first off, look at the protection. Stanley did a great job. 71s all across the board. That's a pocket that any of us can sit there and throw a ball to. Look at it. Turner with a good hit on the end. Look, that's a chip block.
Yeah, watch this here.
Boom.
Great job there. But to your point here, look at this. They certainly, especially the scheme up front, they do a crossover. They're able to try to confuse the offensive lineman. It does not work. Great communication up front.
Yeah, you know what that does? That block, that what Turner does, look, it prolongs that stunt because now he has to run longer.
Yeah.
He messes up the stunt by 88 there, which gives Mason even more time. And he could even hit 82 coming down as a check down too. It was wide open.
There. Right here.
Yep.
So his check down is
down the field. Yep.
Exactly. And your point, the check down's there, but also too, look at the main, just overall though, just look at the protection here. You got to love it. And again, just all athletic offensive linemen. I mean, Ryan Bayer does a great job there. Look at BJ Williams. He's already feeling his left side. He's looking to his right. He's having his arm out here to see if the pressure does come in, because if it does, he hits his arm here, he will go right back inside. But that stunt that they're trying to run up front, trying to confuse the offensive lineman, they've seen that on tape from the previous week. Doesn't work this week, though.
It's just a pass off. Gives Mason a lot of time. And watch when he throws this ball. When you throw, keep going. Go. Stop. Look at that. I mean, he's open, but he just throws it right to a spot. Good clear out. I believe that's Johnson up top. He preoccupies the safety. But a good, and you get Poppy gets the ball and he gets down. He knows he has a first down. And there's like 4 guys there. Just get down and live to.
Right there, right in the soft part of the zone. Blue Hicks does a great job of leading it out. But look at that. All these guys, 4 or 5 different guys right here, finds a perfect spot there. That's just a great play call to your point. I mean, it's amazing when you're able to have time and able to make a great throw. It's incredibly clean.
Yep, it's a very good anticipatory throw, because if he waits till he hits that spot, it's not going to be complete. He throws it before he's at that spot.
Yep. Look at this. Look at that spiral, too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, people were asking yesterday, when you're live there in the game, you're watching it, this kid has an arm. I mean, this kid has an arm. I mean, it's a cannon.
Absolutely. So, again, the protection is awesome. And then there was another one later in the game. I can't remember when it was, but he hits Poppy almost pretty much the same play.
Attacking more of the seams here.
This one, okay, this wasn't, but this is just Johnson. Now look at the bottom of the screen. He's the near slot. No, up one there. Right?
Yeah.
No, not the bottom. At the bottom.
Oh, here we go. Right here. Yeah.
Right
Sorry.
there. That's K. Johnson. Yeah. So they're just attacking the other seam. And this is arm strength right here. So again, what it is, it's a quicker throw to the seam, like almost like a hitch, but it's a seam on the bottom. Now look what happens once you play this again. All right, and then let the second one play, because I think it's the same drive. Yeah, it's the same drive. Now,
boom,
same thing, which is deeper down. It's deeper in the seam. They kept attacking each of these seams. This is all obviously in the first half, but a very, very good game plan by Cade Bell. And you could see this was Cade, this was Johnson, this was Poppy. They hit multiple hitches, in the seam as well too. They were working hitches, posts, things like that throughout the seam, and they were working pretty much all game.
Again, just to your point here, look, I mean, the ball is snapped right here. I mean, they're all just gobbled up. I mean, look at that protection. I mean, look at that amount of space and that amount of time. Look at that. Great job by Kendall Stanley. Great job by Lyndon Cooper. Great job by Ryan Bayer. BJ Williams doing a great job feeling both sides, understanding where the pressure is, where he's needed to move, where he's needed to be able to kick. Just a great job overall. Same thing with Ryan Coretta here. Overall, I mean, holy shit.
Coretta just looks like a bouncer, making sure nobody gets into the club.
Yeah. Brother, I mean, you just look at the progression of this offensive line, just these guys coming together. I mean, they took this personally, and Lyndon Cooper and these guys talked about it after the football game. NC State put up a picture of Lyndon Cooper in their locker room, almost like a dartboard, and we're throwing darts at it. This young man took it personally. He told the offensive line about it. Look, I mean, you can tell he took it personally. And just this offensive line has grown so much. And Kendall Stanley, man, just bouncing back, was unhappy with his performance last week. And, man, just overall, I mean, it's just incredible job. And then you look here, Mason, man, just fires it. I mean, good God almighty. Look at that. You're going through the pixels here. Look at just the pixels. I can't even catch up with it. It's where it's already there.
Yeah. I'm not using the high motion capture on my phone.
Yeah, exactly.
But hell of a catch by Johnson as well, too. He had a great first half. Hope he's okay.
Yeah, and hopefully he's okay. We think he'll be back in time. V6, great design by Bell in the red zone here. This is another good play design, another good capture by you as well.
Yeah, this is where I saw this, and I want to definitely give Cade Bell some flowers on this one, as the kids say. This play design, this is the touchdown to Poppy, and even though the ball was tipped, it's a great design. So if you watch, if you let it roll just a little bit, okay, stop. So you could see Kenny Johnson, because of the success they were having hitting those hitches in the seams. Now, granted, NC State should have known a little bit better because you're in the red zone here, but that corner over top of it is respecting Johnson's curl route.
Yep.
And because of that curl route, that opens up Poppy out in the corner, and he's it's a great play. I mean, in reality, yeah.
To your point there,
it causes the double team almost on Kenny Johnson, which opens up Poppy Williams in the corner.
Yep. And to your point there,
great play design.
He's supposed to be back here, especially covering this portion. And to your point, Eric, he's got to respect this because Kenny Johnson's having himself a hell of a game.
Yep.
He catches his eyes there, and look at just Poppy Williams, man, makes a nice little 1-2 little shimmy. Something you just get there right there at Macy's. Boom, come here for Christmas. Thank you.
You are right. Thank you for mentioning that. Back it up real quick, please. This is called working a man. This is how you beat a zone. Okay, keep going. Now, watch the defender's feet. See how he gets flat-footed right there?
Yeah.
Watch, if you back up, if I don't know how minimal you can back up, but Poppy, like you said, gives him a little shimmy because he at this point right here, that defender doesn't know if he's going inside or out. As soon as he hits flat-footed like that, like he is right now, it's touched. He's open because he can't recover.
You see, he's leaning, gives him that little shimmy, gives him a nice little 1-2.
And you could almost say that Mason's probably late on this.
Yeah,
but he still throws a good ball.
Has his
It does
break.
get tipped by somebody, the guy actually gets it. The defender, he gets it, but he gets it because Mason's actually a little bit late on this, but he still delivers a good ball.
Again, a great ball. It's tipped there, and a great job by Raphael Poppy Williams being able to catch this ball. And obviously, my seats are right up there in the club right there. It was incredible. I mean, that catch was absolutely something.
It's great
I couldn't believe it.
concentration from a tip ball too. To tell you, those are the tip balls and the balls where there's nobody around are the two hardest catches to make in a game. Because no one's around, you're like, I better not drop this.
Yeah.
But then the ball obviously changes trajectory and spin and everything when it's tipped. So great concentration by Poppy.
Just great job overall. Great play design.
I've noticed Cade Bell does a lot of that kind of stuff to the short side of the field too. It's odd.
Maybe the last one here too. This is a really good one here.
Yeah, it's the last one. So I want to. This is all on Hicks. So great design, but Hicks does something that a lot of young receivers. I'm sorry, he doesn't do. An error that a lot of young receivers do, and I'll explain here as you get it to run. So go ahead and let it run. This is obviously Blue Hicks's long touchdown. They are in basically a cover two, but there's a man. I'm sorry, cover one man. But look, okay, if we go back here a little bit,
yeah.
So this is Cade Bell's great. So the guy, whoever's up top there, I can't see who that is. He holds the safety just long enough. And you got Holmes, I believe that's Holmes, the tight end there over the middle and over by the hash. But watch Blue Hicks's angle. He keeps his post upfield because if he flattens a little bit, he's going to run into that safety where he might be able to make a play. But he keeps that post going right down the middle of the field, so that safety has absolutely no chance on the other side of the ball. The mistake that I see a lot of young guys do is they flatten it out too much because they think they're running away from the defender. They keep it skinny because you don't run into the safety on the other side of the field.
Exactly. And to your point here, how well he does this, keeping it on in the trajectory of the post. But just look at the leverage of the DB. He actually does a good job here of opening and make sure his legs, especially to his hips, trying to keep the inside portion of the field protected. But just look at this move, to your point, by Hicks, man. Boom. Makes a little 1-2. And look at this direct here. I mean, makes that little 1-2 shimmy.
Hey, you know what that is? That corner is in what they call oh shit position.
Yeah.
In mine, he's just like, oh shit.
Right there. You know it's over. He tried protecting it, and then boom, loses leverage, gets right to the inside portion of the field, and then right there, when you have a corner turning around like that, it's over. He's gone.
Yep, because by the time he turns around, look at the separation by the time he turns around, and then he's gone. Great design, way to put everybody in a part of the field to occupy safeties. Hicks runs the route properly, almost like a skinny post, if you will.
Yeah.
Keeps it downfield, and Mason, I mean, you can't hand the ball any better than throwing it. This was an absolute dime from Mason. And
again, just great protection, but look at this bomb. I mean, he's at the 10-yard line. He catches his ball at the other 45. I mean, it's a 45-yard bomb. I mean, that's absolutely insane.
On a dime.
Again, to your point, just great protection. Again, they're bringing 1, 2, 3, 4, another 4-man pressure again. O-line does a great job. He's got plenty of time back there. Nobody and their mother around him. He's got plenty of time back there. And just, you know what? Hey, let me just throw a nice little dart here. Let me just improve my stats here. Enjoy the operation of just kicking the shit out of NC State. Look at that.
It's beautiful.
Even
That's
what
you're talking about everybody knowing their assignments, not trying to be a hero running a route because they think it might be better this way or that. It's what Cade Bell drew up. It's a great design. And between that design and the touchdown, and there's a lot of others. We could be here for hours talking about it. But, yeah, those two I think stood out to me. And I wanted to, call it out because I said Hicks did a wonderful, wonderful job with his route there. And, again, great play design.
And you look at it, too, here to your point, he's got him wide open down the field. But look at his check down. Look at his check down here. Johnson comes across the line of scrimmage, and look at his ass wide open here. I mean,
Yep.
it is something to your point, Eric. You pointed it out early on. There are guys open in this offense. It's not just one guy. It's not just two guys. It's sometimes three guys that are open. I mean, he's got a wide open guy right here. If he feels like he's covered here or he can't get separation, he's got a guy right here. And look at the space here. He's got an opportunity to even get a first down here. He catches it here. He gets at least 5, potentially 10 yards. I mean,
yeah. And last thing about this play before you do anything with it, hold it right here. You can see they're in a zone, right?
yeah.
Okay, so you got a guy, a Pitt Panther at each 10-yard line. You got a back.
Yep.
You got Hicks. You got Hicks down here who's running the post for the touchdown. You got Holmes coming in the middle of the field, and then you're going to have the receiver at the top of the screen to 30. So you have representation in every quadrant of the field or every third of the field.
Yeah.
Now Mason just reads who he reads, and someone's going to be open. And in this case, the way Hicks beat his man, it's touchdown.
Just a great job by Mason Heinkel going through progressions. You know, it's a very up-tempo offense, but it's got a lot of NFL schematics, NFL type of how they run their offense. It's just really good job by him going through progressions, especially going through everything here. But again, multiple guys to go to. He finds the right guy and says, you know what? All we need is one play to go 90 yards. And just look at Blue Hicks. Just the speed takes off. No point in where he's going to catch him there. Just a great job overall. Really good night there. It's night stalkers, not night crawlers. Too much time fishing, or yeah, I don't know about that, Panther Dion, but yep, it's night stalkers. Yeah, that's what it is. Night stalkers. I couldn't remember what he was saying there at the after the game there. Pitt fan held a Pitt. The super chat here. You both are great. Much respect for your great knowledge, passion, viewpoints about Pitt. Keep it up as always. Held a Pitt. Love tuning in. Yeah, man, we're lucky to have Eric here, and he does a great job of breaking down the tape, and certainly has plenty of great snippets that come into this show. And I mean, overall, when you're looking at this game, I mean, that's the fun stuff, man. When you're breaking down tape, you go back. It's easy for any one of us to go back and just vision's 2020. But at the end of the day, I mean, this stuff here, you're watching this game. I mean, just a truly great game from beginning to end. I mean, from the amount of guys they played on defense, you got Ibrahim go out for a little bit portion of the game. You got Kavir Baines coming down playing linebacker. But then you look at the offense, just how in sync the offense was. You can't ask for more than that. I mean, for how well the offense performed after, last week. I tried telling people last week they didn't play well at all. They still won by 3 possessions. And in this game, you're asking yourself, man, what a hell of a stretch there. When you look at this football team, you go, they played very well. They played very well. And then, one of the things that caught me after the game last week, and I got to talk to some of the parents after the game yesterday, the minute that you hear players, and I constantly say this, when you have players who understand winning is important, but it's a player-led team, you've got a very successful and very high-potential football team. And when I heard from a number of the parents, hey, they won that game last week, but man, they were pissed. Immediately in my mind, I said to myself, this is a different team, because good to average teams are okay with winning a bad way, or like, hey, who cares? We played bad. We won the game. To see these guys go in the locker room, not happy, pretty disgusted with themselves, go back in the training room, go back in the film room, look at what they did, and then this is what shows up here today. It's a pretty damn good turnaround from what we saw the previous week in up in Syracuse, up in the Dome. Looking at some comments here. Yeah, again, Night Stalkers. That's a really good one. Night Stalkers equals Osama bin Laden death. Mason compared to Eli night and day. Yeah, it's a good point there. I did feel bad for Eli, because obviously, again, he threw another interception. It looked like it was tipped from what we saw on the other side of the stadium. It looked like it was tipped, but I mean, just another interception in the red zone. He looked extremely flustered when he came off the field, and I felt really bad for him just because it's been a tough stretch for him. William Schroeder couldn't really tell the interception was on Eli on the receiver, hoping it was the receiver. Eli's confidence took another hit. We may need him down the road. I know he's got to be prepared. We're probably going to need him down the road. God, hopefully not in a bad way, but he's always a good resource to have there. There was a comment in here, a couple comments left. If you have any more super chats, now is the time, fellas, because we're going to wrap this up here pretty quickly. On to Stanford, yes. Any sense on Kenny Johnson? Looked like he was out towards the end of the game. Okay for Stanford. From my understanding, from talking to a number of different people, Pat Narduzzi after the game, he wanted to go back in the game. I think they held him out as precaution. When you're up that big, there's no reason to have that. I mean, now obviously they had Desmond Reed in the football game, but again, to that point, it was still in the third quarter. I mean, I understand, like when I put my tweet out, it was in the fourth quarter, roughly about 13 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We were up by 3 drives anyways. You can start taking guys out then, but also too, he had missed a number of weeks. It's important for him to get those repetitions. I think mostly here, after seeing him in person, I could not believe the cannon. Yeah. So, yeah, after seeing him in person, I could not believe the cannon he has. Yeah, it's been pretty damn good. Kind of going to our final thoughts here. We broke down the tape. We talked about how well Pitt played in this game. But, Eric, it is now on to the Stanford Cardinals, and Pitt will be traveling. My understanding is they'll be traveling a day earlier than they normally do, which is a really good thing. They fly out there Thursday. Talk about, Eric. I mean, in my opinion, I think, each game we can talk about how important it is, but it's on to the next one. And Pitt played great, in this game. They're not going to be ranked this week. I think if they beat the Stanford Cardinals, they go to 7-2. They probably will be ranked, but going into this Stanford Cardinal game, they did not perform well. They got absolutely crushed by Miami this week. Talk a little bit how, as a player, for instance, you had a great game. You watched the tape today on a Sunday afternoon. You watched the tape. But going into Monday, their focus now is, okay, hey, we're going to hear a lot of good stuff about us in the media. That's all well and good. But how do we focus going forward now getting ready for the Stanford Cardinals coming up here on next Saturday?
There's a different dynamic this week because it's a West Coast trip across the country. I don't know the last time Pitt did that.
What I guess, yeah, I mean.
I heard when I was watching the game, they mentioned, they said it was Narduzzi's first time.
Yeah, Narduzzi's first time.
Yeah. So there's a preparation dynamic there. And I'm glad to hear that they're going out a day early because the time zones, the differences are real. It can mess you up a little bit. So, and I agree. I mean, the game ended up being lopsided with Miami, but I was watching a little bit of that game last night. Last night. And they were giving Miami a game for a while. But, obviously the talent overcame and Miami ended up smashing them. But Stanford's a sneaky good – they got Frank Reich, I believe, is their coach.
Yep.
Obviously, ex-pro guy. So, he can dial up some schematics. It's going to be a sneaky tough game. A few weeks ago we said, if Pitt has any ACC championship game aspirations, they need to be 7-2 going into these final 3 gauntlets, if you will, of a game with Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, and Miami. And I actually think, honestly, outside of Texas, I think Texas A&M and Notre Dame right now are the 2 best teams in the country from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely both winnable games for Pitt, especially if they get the guys back healthy. But this is the lights at the end of the tunnel. They know this they got to have this game. Then they can kind of get the bye week and they can reset themselves for those last 3 games. It would be all for naught if you drop a game to Stanford.
Yep.
And just win the game.
Yeah, to your point, win the football game because this is a massive game this week. It is a must-win game this week. These guys will certainly be dialed in for the Stanford Cardinals. And then I think you couldn't have asked for a better week for a bye week and to allow yourself 2 weeks to prepare for who will be a top 10 opponent. It'll be 3 straight top 10 opponents across the board. It's going to be a damn good, 3 weeks. But to their point, it's time to get back on track. They've done a great job of that, 4 games in a row. But now it's the Stanford Cardinals. You want to get some guys back healthy, get them some game reps. Hopefully we see, I'd probably think we'd see Rasheem Biles, Kyle Lewis back this week. I think Nick Lappy will be back this week. And I truly do believe, after this week, you'll probably see after the bye week some guys who have been out all season so far and haven't played. They're going to get their first action, I think, against Notre Dame. But this is a massive, massive game this week. Nate Bynum, former tight end for the Pitt Panthers, is the offensive coordinator for Frank Reich out at Stanford. He will certainly be prepared. He will certainly want to beat his former team. It's going to be very apparent. And again, to your point, the travel across country is a real thing. Pitt goes into this game right now, as of this morning, a 13.5-point favorite. They should win this game. I truly do believe they should win this game because of who they're facing. But it's all about the level of maturity of this football team. They showed the maturity to this point, but it is truly time to dial in and get ready to travel cross country and win this football game. They should be prepared for it out there Thursday. Sleep on it on that Thursday night. Have yourself a whole Friday to be prepared. But I think the great thing for Pitt, too, is on that Saturday, it's a 12:30 game out on the West Coast. It's a 3:30 game here on the East Coast, but they're not waiting until 7, 8 o'clock at night to go play that football game like some other teams had in the past. Yep. So it's certainly on their side there. But if Pitt takes care of business, they'll be 7-2, and we got ourselves one hell of a matchup going into this week. Stanford is a big game. Depth on defense with guys coming back is interesting. Yeah, this is going to be good. Per Matt Zenitz, LSU is close to firing Kelly, just figuring out economics. Yeah, with them, when I heard this afternoon, I had a couple of sources call me and said, hey, they're sending the coaches home, just giving you a heads up. That's going to be something to watch. Does Brian Kelly enter the race for the Penn State hiring up there? Because obviously he's a Boston guy. I'm not exactly a big fan of his. I think enough of his time at Notre Dame. I've learned a lot about him from players who went there. Not exactly the best guy in the world, especially with the whole debacle with a former videographer there, and a horrible tragedy that occurred there. But overall, this is going to be a really big week for the Pitt Panthers. And, man, Adam Vincic, any update on Reed and Johnson? From what my understanding is, they're fine. I would expect them to play next week. There may be a pitch count, for Desmond Reed, depending upon what the game looks like. But I expect them both to be back at 100%, being able to play this coming week. But we'll find out more as we go through this week. But from everything that I've heard, these two guys wanted to go back in the game yesterday, which tells you everything you need to know. But I expect them to play moving forward.
Hey, JJ, I got a question for you. Is there anything that we should read into? Again, Reed coming back, he's going to eat snaps, but Goff just disappeared. In a sense where he's just not getting snaps.
Yeah.
Anything you really read into that? Or, obviously, it's probably more of a credit to Turner as well. But it was kind of alarming to see Goff just go to where he's not getting any snaps at all.
And I think that's a great pickup on your end. I noticed it during the game. I think that what they're doing at this point is they want to rotate in only two guys. And I feel like maybe that the threes may be too much because Joel Goff was healthy. I think that they're almost playing it to the point where they don't want to rotate too many guys in there because, God forbid, someone else gets hurt. I think it's almost like a precaution to where keep him healthy. He had one catch in the game for about 5 yards. But pretty much when you got Desmond Reed out there, there's going to be one more guy to go with him. And I feel like Kieran Boozy Turner has just really earned that second spot right now. And he just continues to play at a high level. I think they're just keeping those two guys there right now. But also, too, is there really a point to really rotate in three guys when you have Desmond Reed in there? He's going to take the majority of the snaps, Shakir and Boozy Turner. But I think they're more worried about keeping him healthy. And I think that was a huge conversation this week. A couple people reached out to me about that. They said that room is so depleted because they really only have three guys that can rotate into that game that they can really trust right now. I feel like they're kind of like playing it close to the vest to say, hey, let's not put anybody else in danger. We don't need to put anybody else in danger. Because just right now, look at, just everything going on with Des Reed at this point has you on edge just to make sure he stays healthy.
Yeah, I definitely would put him on a pitch count in Stanford and get him fully healthy for Notre Dame.
Yeah, and this is another really good one. Any word on Cruz? If anybody can tell me, I didn't see him come out of the game, but there was a hit that he delivered, and there was a clear display that the young man had a concussion. It was almost like he was in and out of consciousness. I don't think, from my understanding, he didn't come out of the game after that because I did see him play in the fourth quarter. Obviously, I hope he's okay. I can certainly imagine there's probably a conversation going on there after the game. I think they'll go through a number of protocols and whatnot, but he looked to be fine after that. It may have been a quick stinger, a quick burner, whatever happened there, but that was a little nerve-wracking. But we'll go through the week. It is Sunday. We don't have very much information on that kind of stuff. Here's another comment, too. What's up with the strength and conditioning at Pitt? I don't know what people want the strength and conditioning staff to do. They can't cure concussions. If a guy gets hurt making a tackle, I don't know what else they want him to do. The stuff early on in the season with the West Virginia stuff, guys getting tired. When you're out there, look at the time of possession. The time of possession has completely changed. Too many injuries. I don't know what you guys want the strength and conditioning staff to do. If the guy makes a tackle and gets hurt, I don't know what else to do. Also too, to Pitt fans out there, go look at NC State. They had 19 guys out yesterday. I mean, it's not just Pitt. It is every team across the board. The early stuff with Jeremiah Marshall and stuff, I heard practice was extremely, extremely difficult. If you look at 2023, Pitt was not very active in terms of tackling during that season. They went 3-9 that year. I mean, there is at some point in time, I think Eric, to his point, when he played, I got news for you. We were tackling it full-fledged, inside run. You can name it. I mean, we were playing at full tilt. I mean, just this year alone, we're just unlucky. I don't, because when you look at a guy like, for instance, the strength and conditioning staff that we have right now, he came from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Before that, he was at Mississippi State. He is one of the best. Stack is one of the best strength and conditioning coaches in the country. I mean, you just can't help if a guy gets hurt. I don't know what else he's supposed to do.
You only have so much time in college to practice.
Yeah.
You only have so many times that you can hit. You see this a lot in the NFL too, because of again, this is not the NFL, but I'm drawing a parallel to this. You can only have so many padded practices.
Yeah.
You can only have so many times where you're, live hitting and such. And I know colleges will limit that, but again, because you're also limiting the amount of time you can actually have these kids practicing. Have you ever heard the term football shape?
Yeah.
You can be in shape, but you got to be in football shape. And that conditions your body from hitting, going against a man against his will. So that is real. And I really think with the injuries, look at just teams have injury bugs from year to year. Look at, in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens have been decimated with injuries.
Yeah.
You're telling me that they don't have great strength and conditioning? They do. It's an NFL team. They do. It's just a matter of it's some unlucky bounces or some unlucky friendly fire, if you will, when you kind of, you get guys getting hit by their own players. I don't think it's like you said, there's nothing the strength and conditioning guy can necessarily do. I have a hard time believing that when it's time to strength and conditioning, they're playing cards.
Yeah.
They're putting the work in. It's just an unfortunate part of this game. And you hate to see it, but,
yeah,
it's what it is.
And it's not just Pitt. It's across the country. I mean, you look at last year, Rasheem Biles didn't miss a game. Kyle Lewis didn't miss a game. Our D-line, I mean, besides Sean Fitzsimmons early on in the year, he came back healthy. We didn't have problems last year. I mean, it was just this year we've run into the buck. Look at West Virginia. West Virginia has like 27 guys out. I mean, it's across the board, and to your point, Eric, there is only so many times. I mean, it's per the rules. You can only have live practices for so many times or how many live periods. Yeah. You got to go full tilt because tackling, fans need to understand this too. Tackling is not normal. That is not a natural function of an individual where they're able to just go out there and just start tackling. You have to practice that. You have to practice form, practice the way to actually tackle. If you don't, prime example, 2023, we couldn't tackle worth a shit. So you're probably looking at, with Pat Narduzzi's like, hey, we're tackling. We are in those live periods, and especially a guy like him, for where he comes from. I mean, if I showed you guys practice film from Michigan State when he was at Michigan State when they had 3-a-days, you guys wouldn't believe the amount of physicality that was going on in those practices. You wouldn't believe that kind of stuff. Go look back at like Dave Wanstead when he was here. Yeah. We had all those guys. I mean, when Gattuso was running that D line, it was physical. Like when you play at Pitt, that is the staple of a Pitt program. You're going to be physical. Mm-hmm. You're going to be knowing how to tackle, Blitzburg, you name it. We're just going through a tough time with injuries. It is what it is. Things happen, But you can't blame that on the strength and conditioning coaches. Now, if guys are not, they're cramping up constantly 110%, there'll be a conversation with those players because it is on the players to stay healthy. It is, I mean, that's their job, to stay hydrated. But I think that really we've got kicked out of that to where it's not really an issue anymore. And they've done a good job taking care of their bodies. But now it's okay. Hey, can we not have a bad thing happen to where we keep everybody healthy on the football field?
Yeah, I think strength and conditioning, if you look at it, maybe I was thinking about this as you were talking about, you could probably measure that by missed tackles. You could probably measure that by linemen really getting bull rushed. You can see some things on the field that, that is strength and conditioning on that too. So that's the one thing I don't see from Pitt, right? We showed how many pieces of tape with them hustling and tackling and hitting. So the strength and conditioning, I think, is there. It just stinks these injuries, but hopefully Pitt will be free of injuries for the most part once Notre Dame rolls around, and especially if they were to get out of Stanford healthy.
I agree. And, again, I think the bye week will come at a good time, but we are certainly focused on the Stanford Cardinals. And, guys, I think, again, Eric, cannot thank you enough for being here tonight, brother. Tell them where they can find you on all your socials.
Absolutely. You can find me on the Twitters, aka X, at Bird Cave, as you see in the name tag there. Also, the YouTube channel, The Bird Cave, and join my man GB and others on Monday nights as well as Thursday nights for some Steelers talk. We get into other NFL talk as well, and we'll definitely mention Pitt as well. But it's just a really cool round table of football and beers discussion, and we'd love for you guys to come in and weigh in on the Steelers and everything else that we're talking about.
I can certainly tell you I will be tuning in. If you have not subscribed to Eric's channel, The Bird Cave, I suggest you do so right now. He's got some really good videos up, especially, too, the last show they did, it was live in person, was absolutely phenomenal from beginning to end. That is a must-watch. Again, The Bird Cave over on YouTube. Subscribe to that, like it. Go watch the videos, and then remember, each video you watch, leave a comment down below with your thoughts on the discussion. Guys, cannot thank you enough for a great episode of Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen. The show is great not because of me, not because of anybody else, but because of you guys, because of the great comments, the great questions, and your viewership. Guys, it's always great to be positive about Pitt, because obviously the positivity about Pitt is extremely hard to find in our market. We continue to look to do that. Also, the amount of people that I met between the tailgates yesterday, I was up at Bigham Tavern after the game. Thank you guys for coming up. The pictures were great. Meeting plenty of different people across the board, multiple different tailgates. A lot of you guys got to visit and meet my brother, which was a lot of fun. But cannot thank you guys enough. Again, it has been another episode of Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen. As always and forever, hail to Pitt and hail to the ACC. We'll see you guys next time.